shit! It's Vince Russo!
Vince McMahon's best-kept secret.
I am the Antichrist of professional wrestling.
David Arquette won the world title.
I've got a wife, 3 kids at home, and I really don't need this shit.
How can this show be so awful, Mr. McMahon? I didn't think it was.
Viagra on a pole match.
And Hogan, you big bald son of a bitch, kiss my ass.
Judy Bagwell on a forklift match. McMahon, the family, The Rock, they screwed us all.
Now, you're the editor, right?
Mankind did it! Jumpy, beat. Goldberg steered Russo out of the cage.
I'm from New York.
I'll get downright nasty.
This is Vince Russo's The Brand.
All right, everybody, here we are. Friday. I'm wearing the same shirt. I've been sitting here for 3 days just like this. We are going to do the Raw and SmackDown review. We've got Big Vito. We've got the beautiful Noel. We've got Mr. Bolin. We've got the Prince, Chris Bolin. And, of course, we've got Jeff Lane. Jeff, how you doing?
Vince, do me a favor before we get the show started. Will you slab on a little bit of deodorant there? You've been
No, bro, I do stink. I can smell myself.
Good Lord.
Because I'm sweating and I smell and I'm sick and I got to go.
I want him to get some right guard and left guard if that's not.
Bro, are you smelling that through the computer, man?
Yeah, all right. Enough with that. Let's start the show off on a good note here. Okay? Here we go. Ready? Tonight, we are debuting the new website, and we are the new sponsored couple of Collar and Elbow, baby. Collar and Elbow. Oh, yeah. You got your Big Vito code. It's coming to you. I'm telling you, we got a merch page.
That's heat, Mr. Bolin. That's heat, Mr. Bolin.
We're going to be the #1 merch sellers. I'm telling you, Bolin shirts. We got Big Vito shirts.
That's heat, Mr. Bolin.
Collar and Elbow.
You're seeing this all wrong. That's no heat at all. I won. Because he was out here pumping Hogan's crap for God knows how long. And now we've got him with us. We've won.
Does Collar and Elbow have deodorant?
Now he and I could compete head to head.
Does Collar and Elbow have deodorant?
Now we actually have Kenny and I have a contest. Okay, now it's Bolin merch against Vito merch.
Now go ahead.
Let the best man win. And our motto here at our shop here.
No.
We don't buy our merch. We just sell our merch.
I don't want the best man to win. I want to win.
All right, let's talk about Raw and SmackDown.
All right, go ahead.
I bid you adieu.
Good night, Noel. Good night. Okay, let's talk about Raw and SmackDown. Okay, we open up the show. Freaking Stephanie dressing down Kurt Angle. I've talked about this week after week after week after week after week after week. You know, okay, we'll talk about Kurt getting a little comeuppance tonight, even though we didn't get what he should have gotten. But Stephanie comes out, totally castrates Kurt Angle. What else? The Shield come out. They stand by Kurt Angle's side. Here's the problem I have with this first segment. And Jeff, how many times have we seen this? They started going down a road. Stephanie started a line of questioning with Kurt about who let the New Day in. Now, if you guys remember, they set up that show where the New Day appeared. Remember, Jeff, every door was locked. Security's tight. This, that, and the other thing. That's the way they set the show up. All of a sudden, New Day showed up. So now when Stephanie's going down that road with Kurt, who let New Day in? I finally said, holy shit, they did something on purpose and they're going to pay it off because there was security all around the building and somehow New Day got in. Usually the WWE just lets things like this go by. Now they're going to go down that road. They can get 3 hours out of this. There's a fox in the hen house. Who's the fox, bro? Who's the fox? But what did they do, Jeff? They did what they always did. They turned it into a wrestling angle between the New Day and the show. I got to ask you guys, Mr. Bolin, Chris, Vito, and maybe it's me. And, bro, I am jaded. I watched good wrestling in the 70s, the 80s, the Attitude Era. I watched good wrestling, okay? So I'm jaded because now I'm watching crap. Does anybody here care about the New Day versus the Shield?
No. Is it unanimous?
Not a bit. Unless those guys were held hostage for the whole show and beat the crap out of with a tire iron or a rubber snake or something, then I would say, hey, it was a great show. But nobody cares about the New Day. Nobody.
But Jeff, this is what you talk about all the time. A perfect opportunity. There's a rat. There's a freaking rat. Who's the rat? Bro, I would have spent 3 hours making you think it was Jason Jordan. Then we find out in the first hour, well, it's not Jason. Oh, wait a minute. All of a sudden now is it the Miz? That would have been my 3 freaking hours. But they went off of that. Okay, now we're gonna get to the big match between the Shield and New Day that nobody gives a shit about. Then we go to the second segment, a 3-way. The winner is on Team Raw. Was there any doubt in anybody's mind that Bayley was winning this match?
No, there was not.
I have a new girl I'm pushing. I know Kenny's gonna get mad.
Well, you lost Emma, so.
Dana Brooke. I'm telling you. My girl Dana.
Vito, tell me you're ribbing. Tell me you're ribbing, Vito.
She has gotten better. I'm telling you.
Geez.
Don't put the hex on her, Kenny. Don't make her get fired this time. Leave her there. Now, that's my girl, all right? That's my boo.
Go pick up her
Dana
pink.
Brooke.
You know what? This is where they dropped the ball with WWE, and it's Dana Brooke. A couple years ago, the Randy Orton memes where he was RKOing everything out of nowhere, and all the blooper videos and stuff were all over the internet, and WWE ignored it when they could have put stuff like that on the TV and played up into it. Well, it happened again a couple weeks ago when SmackDown invaded Raw. Dana Brooke like sprinted, like she flew out of there, like she was scared to death, like, and she was running a 100-meter dash, like just boom, took off when the SmackDown people were coming, and everybody was tweeting it all over the internet, like it showed her running away from every disaster and everything possible, and it was hilarious, and they totally ignored it again. And that's the kind of stuff I think they need to keep up with. What are people talking about that may not even watch wrestling? Play up to that stuff, because they had it with Dana.
Even tried to help them, and they still couldn't follow the lead.
Mr. Bolin, is it fair to say that Kelsey's nuts are more over than Dana Brooks?
I was noticing that myself, is this going to be the next one that's going to get the push? And did she do fantastic down in NXT? Because I heard a lot of talk about her, but I haven't seen anything worth talking about since she's got here.
Vito, what do you see in this Dana Brooke?
Dana Brooke has gotten better, and I think when she's let to be an aggressive heel, and if they just let her run a little bit and just give her a little bit of a push, I think you'll be able to see the improvements in her wrestling. She's come 100 miles from where she started, okay? Is she ready to be world champion? No. Is she ready to be a formidable foe and be put in a good angle? Yes. Who did they end the show up with? Was Dana Brooke and who? Who was the last two there? She screwed over somebody. Asuka.
Yeah.
So,
Asuka.
Yeah.
Right. So now I could see them two going together and starting an angle. That's the new angle. Asuka and Dana Brooke, I think.
And Dana Brooke is going to be fodder for Asuka.
Yeah,
I guess so. Yeah.
I don't think they can have Asuka be the one. I don't think that Asuka's first loss can come from Dana Brooke.
No.
I think they need to get the win streak over with. I think that needs to die. I don't think there's anywhere to go with it now. But I don't think it can come from somebody like Dana Brooke, because it's not going to build up Dana Brooke, because it's not believable, and it's just going to bury Asuka that she lost to somebody like that. Do you
think the WWE fans buy the streak the way the NXT fans did? Are they as aware of this streak as you and I are?
I think they can tell the story on commentary even if they're not.
Well, they could, but we've seen how commentary goes.
And they can do video packages. I just don't think that I don't think that in that environment you can have a streak like that. I don't think it works, personally.
Okay, there's no need to talk about Kalisto and Takawawa against Gullik. And is there any reason to talk about this match? Anybody have any comments?
No.
Okay.
Nada.
Does anybody can somebody tell me, other than filler to fill out 3 hours, what was the purpose? Where did the Miz, Cesaro, and Sheamus promo get us?
Nowhere.
Did anything happen? I mean, Jeff, serious, did anything happen in that promo?
That was pretty filler. It was pretty filler. And I don't know. I mean, they had the Shield match later in the show, so they could have done something to build to that instead of just having the match. So it's very, I mean, they cut the promos on it. I don't know. Very confusing and boring.
Normally, if Sheamus is involved in the promo, Maya accuses me of never paying attention to her and calls me out every time that I do it. You want me to tune out, let Sheamus speak. And that normally will do it every time.
Yeah. Okay, next we had the, and Jeff, just fill in the blanks if I'm missing everything, but I think we had Bray Wyatt and Jason Jordan next, correct?
Yes.
Okay, Vito, what you think about this?
I was hoping when Bray Wyatt walked down the aisle, they weren't going to waste him, and I was going to get angry, like angry as hell. And if I believe so, didn't Jason Jordan leave on an injury? Did he lost the match?
Yeah,
he lost the match, and Bray got his heat back at the end.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was hoping that they weren't going to waste Bray Wyatt, because that gets me more mad than anything else. There's a guy who's a quality heel, a quality wrestler, a great character. They've misused him tremendously. And then you have Jason Jordan, who is totally unbelievable, totally not ready for a singles push, totally not ready for main event, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, or anything. He needs to go back to NXT. I say week after week, please get rid of him. He's unbelievable.
He has Rocky Maivia heat. The crowd hates him.
Yeah.
They were cheering Bray like you wouldn't believe. Thank you, Wyatt. Thank you, Wyatt. I think they were chanting at the end for screwing his leg up and getting him out of the five that were going to Survivor. Yeah, they were thanking Bray, the heel, for doing that. That's an Atlanta crowd. That's maybe you see the Northeast do that. This is the South. They're all stupid down here. Remember, we play along with all this crap. No. 450 miles south of here, they became a Northeastern crowd because of how bad they hate.
He has no believability at all. And there's one thing the crowd over the last few years has gotten to hate, it's having that guy shoved down their throats. We've seen it with Roman, and now we're seeing it with Jason.
And when the South turns on them, man, that's bad.
They don't want the chosen guy. They don't want the guy that they're supposed to cheer. They want to create it themselves. And when you take that opportunity away from them, you're going to have stuff like that with Jason Jordan just getting buried by the crowds, even in a town like Atlanta.
Yeah,
Vince, you lived in Atlanta. You booked for Atlanta. You have any opinions on the crowds down there?
Yeah, no, I mean, I mean, it was like your dad said, bro. It sounded like a New York crowd.
Yeah,
they despise him.
Chris, let me tell you about this idea I've been pitching. I think I've got Jeff on board with it. Because the next segment is Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar. Okay. Now listen, Kenny. I mean, Chris. I've said this publicly, and I'll say it again. Okay. And I don't care. I'm not trying to win any popularity contest. I'm being honest. Paul Heyman is the most unappealing, unattractive human being on television. That goes for Game of Thrones. Not, but Mr. Bolin, you're 100 times better looking than that. He's disturbing looking. He's got the jowls. He's very hard to look at, bro.
A hateful.
Okay? I can't argue with any of that,
Chris. And Chris, every time the guy comes out, he says the same exact thing. He has been saying the same exact thing for the last 3 freaking years. Yeah. It's the same freaking promo over and over and over again. It's old. Yeah, it's old. It's tired. I don't care about the marks that are up Paul Heyman's ass because they still think it's ECW. The guy, bro, nobody outside of Vince McMahon, nobody would ever put this guy on a television show. Okay, so Chris, my idea was, which I think is money. Okay, since Heyman is so disturbing looking to look at, and the jowls and everything, make him a cartoon character and have him come out as a cartoon character and get in the ring and stand next to Brock and cut this bro, would that not be money?
You know what they do with Donald Trump on the Colbert Show where they make the cartoon? I'm on this.
I'm telling you, bro.
Yeah,
now we got something.
Film it like the old Disney animations. Yeah.
Yes. Who was that? Mr. Bolin, Dick Van Dyke and Mary Poppins with the Penguins.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah. And you put it up on the Titantron and everybody just follows.
And here's what I love about the great Paul Heyman. His promo was so compelling. And he had everybody in the Phillips Arena at the edge of their seats. They were so excited, sitting on every word by Mr. Heyman, that all of a sudden they started chanting, "She said yes. She said yes." That tells you, bro.
And Daniel Bryan was nowhere in the building.
That tells you how much these freaking people are into what Paul Heyman is saying.
It disturbed him. Did you notice that?
What's that?
Did you see how badly it disturbed him?
Absolutely. That was the beauty of it.
They started that chant during his promo, and then he tried to get the heat back by leaning through the ropes. And do you recall exactly what he said?
Oh, yeah. He said, well, she said yes because, are you ready for this? She never had a real man like Brock Lesnar. Oh, please, bro, stop it already, will you? Let me cut another promo on Paul Heyman while we're at it, Vito. Okay, bro? Because it is clear to anybody now. Anybody now. You don't have to work in the wrestling business like everybody here. It is clear to everybody. Freaking 3 weeks ago, Paul Heyman buries Jinder Mahal, buries him, digs a grave, puts the dirt on the guy, pours concrete on top, doesn't say one thing to put Jinder Mahal over. Not one word.
Testicles in his mouth on the way.
In his mouth, bro. Now, fast forward 3 weeks later, AJ Styles. Here's a million reasons why you should get the pay-per-view, because that's how great. If people don't understand, bro, this is it in a nutshell. Okay, this is why Paul Heyman still has a job in the wrestling business, because he's the greatest politician that ever worked the backstage area, better than Kevin Nash ever was. They did not want Jinder Mahal in that match with freaking Lesnar. Heyman let it be known, and I'm sure he played the Brock card. Oh, Brock thinks the match with Jinder will be horrible. He goes out there, buries Jinder, takes all the credibility away from this guy, and now AJ Styles is the greatest thing. That's how it works in the wrestling business. Meanwhile, Jinder Mahal, Vito, Jinder Mahal went out there every single week and busted his ass. He did the best with what they freaking gave him, and now this guy is on the outside looking in, because I'm sure he's one of these hell of a nice guy. He's gonna sit back. He's gonna keep his mouth shut while the politicians go to work and work him out of a spot. I will stake my reputation. That's exactly what happened. Vito?
I can call it as I see it. I could say that Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar went into business for themselves, cut that promo. They voiced their displeasure, probably were told something else. But being that the way that Asylum is run these days, with guys like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens making their way, and Nia Jax, and this one leaving and that one leaving, everybody has a voice. Well, when you have an advocate like Paul Heyman who's got the experience, and Brock Lesnar who's the top dog, it's easy to politic for who you want to wrestle at the big events to get the biggest payoff. AJ Styles was the #1 guy. Jinder Mahal didn't have the experience. Paul Heyman did bury him, but then the second promo, like you said, and we all called it, hey, AJ, you're the man. You're the guy who's going to give him a run for the money, but you're going to lose to him. It's a credibility match because Jinder didn't have the credibility that AJ Styles does. But I think you're going to get a better match. I think you're going to get a quality match. I think they're going back to India. I think Mahal's going to get his title back as a hometown babyface, come back as champion. I think he's a transition champion, not to take anything away from AJ Styles. I just think he was put in this position for the pay-per-view, and I think they're going to move on when they go back to India, give Mahal the title back, and then we're going to go on from there.
Yeah, but I think they've announced that Mahal's now wrestling Triple H in India.
He is.
Not AJ.
Yeah, but it could be. He still do a title match. He still can get the title after the Survivor Series. AJ Styles can get injured, come into the match. Mahal can win his title back, and then it could be a championship match with Triple H, which would draw major heat and people and press. And I think that's what they're going to go for, because if you take the biggest star in the company, put him with Mahal, now you got everything along with the embassy catering to you to have something great.
Chris, I had told you earlier that I had some inside info that I'd revealed on here a couple of weeks ago about Brock, and that he may not have that title much longer.
Yeah.
From what you're hearing, because the information that I had, I understand has now been leaked. So I don't want to be the one to leak it. But do you see that happening, that maybe they basically blew AJ bad hairstyle so good that they're setting him up to get the title from Brock? Well, those titles aren't on the line.
No, they're not on the line. No,
okay,
I think that I honestly agree with Vito completely on this. I think that the belt's going back to Jinder. I think they I think the issue was that they buried Jinder so thoroughly that he couldn't lose to Brock because it would have meant nothing if he had.
Yeah.
And if he beat Brock, then Brock got beat by what Paul Heyman basically called a job guy.
Yeah.
So I think they had to do something in that case. I personally wanted them to put Jinder over Brock. Clean.
I agree. That's what I said. That's what I said, bro.
I think if he went over Brock, it builds his credibility so far, especially with the Indian audience, which is the only one that really matters in this case. The Americans have AJ. They've got all those guys that they can cater to. I think that you have to focus on getting Mahal over just to pay off that Indian bet that they've been making. And I think that taking the belt off of him now and keeping it off of him, it wastes the last 6 months.
I agree with you.
That I would agree with.
Hey, Mr. Bolin, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
We talked about the politicking, and I was telling a story of how one of the WrestleManias was supposed to be Rock and Stone Cold and Mankind, and Shawn Michaels came in and got in Austin's ear, and the next thing I knew, Mick was out of the main event. Vito had a similar circumstance where he was supposed to have a big match with Booker. They were both on rolls. All of a sudden, for whatever reason, the carpet was dragged out from underneath them. All of a sudden, Taker was in the spot. With OVW, Kenny, being a developmental territory, I was always curious, man. Did this type of politicking go on at that level?
Absolutely not, and I'll tell you why.
We have different experiences with that.
Well, yeah, you probably did, because the generals were no longer running the ship by that time. It was the inmates running the asylum by the time you took over. But when I was there and we were in our heyday and we had the WWE contract, to quote Negan, that shit's not going to fly around here. You're going to do as you're told. You're going to do it with a smile on your face. And here's what your job is. Go out and do your job. You get somewhere between $750 and $1,000 a week to do it. You lucky bastards get paid to learn. None of the veterans around here ever were granted that luxury. Bobby Eaton was in the business for 7 years before he profited $1. I was very much in that same situation before I could. I always get offended when people call themselves professionals that do not pay their bills by what they make out of the wrestling business. And I also was 7 years in the business before I could even refer to myself as a professional, because my bills were paid through health insurance sales, medical sales, and the mortgage business. And that was what I was professional at. That's what paid the bills. But no, that shit didn't fly at OVW. You did what you were told. Never was there any politicking. It just didn't happen. And we were amazed that at our level, to where everybody's pretty much considered somewhat equal, we're all here under the certain contracts and whatever. And everybody played ball, and no one ever had a problem with it. But by the time Chris got there, WWE's gone, TNA is gone.
No, I was there for the TNA.
Well, yeah, you were there for TNA. You were there for that. I forgot.
We were TNA's developmental at that point, and we were run by Al Snow. And Al is a wonderful guy. I love Al personally.
Mr. Collar and Elbow.
Yeah, he's a wonderful person, but he's not a booker. And I've said that, or he's not a writer. He's not, however you want to distinguish the two.
Nothing Chris hasn't said to his face many times.
Yeah, and I've told him this. He and I got into many arguments. But he was very susceptible to people sucking up to him, to people going to his house, going out partying with him, people drinking with him, and then those guys are suddenly getting the shots on TV.
Those guys ironically got the push.
And honestly, I did it too. I mean, I would tell him what we were going to do because I felt I knew it was better for my group than he did. And as long as I didn't try to work with anybody that he felt was established, he let me have free run. So I'd book my own stuff.
Chris and I both took great honor in taking the dead weight in the locker room and then trying to find a way to elevate it and say, hey, here's what you weren't doing anything with. We're going to take it and we're going to make main event status out of it. And Chris was even more successful than that than I was, because I was handed most of my guys, and I would either say I don't want him or I do want him. And then sometimes they shoved them down my throat, like Rene Dupree and a couple of others, Ken Doane, that I didn't want based on their personalities. I did not want them in our group to bring everybody else down. And but Chris, he just walked around the locker room. Okay, you're not doing anything with him. He hadn't been on TV in 3 months. I want this guy. And then Chris would take them. And the next thing you know, within a month or so, they were main eventing on television and drawing bigger houses than anything Al Snow was booking. So that is when the politicking started taking place. When you buddied up with Al Snow, you got in the main event. And if you didn't, they tried to push you out the door. And Trailer Park Trash was susceptible to that as well.
There was a lot of politicking in those days from that. So,
guys, it was a different era when Kenny was there in the 2000s. And that's why you didn't have all that kind of ruckus with the politics. And after everybody left, that's when things changed.
There wasn't anybody in politics too. You had Danny and Jimmy, and what they said went. And if you dared to went in and rebuke it, that was how you got yourself off television.
Yeah.
Was copping an attitude and not wanting to play ball.
And Jimmy chased you out there with a baseball bat. I mean, there was the fear of trying to politic under Jimmy.
Hey, Jeff, you're making a lot of funny faces. Like I'm distracted. You're making like Popeye faces with your eye. Are you all right over there, bro?
Yeah, I had to mute for a minute there. My girlfriend just got home, so the dogs are barking.
Squinting your eyes. What the hell's going on over there, bro?
Well, my contacts are
okay. I'm going to throw this to Jeff because I want to hear Jeff's take on this. We are not going to talk about the match between The Shield and Cesaro and Sheamus and Miz. That meant absolutely everything here you could a 12-year-old could have written. Bailey's going to win. She's going to get the freaking spot. It's the Shield's first time together. They're going to beat these freaking guys. I even knew I swear to God, I knew Jason Jordan was going to beat Bray, and Bray was going to get his heat back. So I'm not going to talk about that.
I hope Bray got his heat back.
Yeah, I didn't think you would get his heat back. I didn't think
you never know them. So I hope.
Jeff, tell me what you thought about this. Kurt, Jason Jordan, Triple H. Tell me what you thought about that. I want to hear from you.
Well, I'm sure I'm going to get accused of nitpicking as I usually do, but I think it's because so many people have lowered their expectations, and that's something you guys always talk about, is that when something decent happens, they don't like to hear why something in it was illogical, so therefore you're nitpicking, and I understand that. But to me, this sticks out like a sore thumb. I love seeing Triple H. I think he still commands the audience. I think he's still a presence in the ring, and I think he's somebody that people wants to see. I like seeing that. I liked seeing Jason Jordan look vulnerable, begging, please don't do this to me. I like the drama there. Here's my issue.
I did like that.
Once again, Kurt Angle looked like a complete wuss because here's Triple H towering over him. If you're not going to do it, I'm going to do it. Stared him down, did it, and then pedigrees his son, and he just stood there and let it all happen. That's what stuck out like a sore
Jeff, I don't think that's nitpicking at all. I mean, are you kidding me? Jeff, I always said when I wrote TV, I put myself in the shoes of every performer. If this happened, what would so-and-so do? If that happened to Kurt Angle, he would have killed Triple H. I mean, period, end of story. I don't think that's a nitpick at all. Vito said the same thing, right, Vito?
I thought it was horrible because in reality, I mean, even the conversation we have, and this is everybody on this panel here, if somebody hit your child, you would go ballistic and you would go after him. And when your boss gets in your face, even though he might be wrong and there's some heat from the other boss, and you don't answer back or show any kind of chutzpah, okay, and then he comes out and he buries your son on top of it. Where's your man card? Where is that spunk? Where's that Kurt Angle? Where's the drama of grabbing Triple H by the jacket? And where's the stare down? And where's grabbing him or doing something? He let him walk. And he let her. I mean, it was terrible. Go ahead, Kenny. Go ahead.
If anybody knows, how old is Triple H and how old is Kurt Angle?
I think Kurt's 48 or 49.
No, I think Kurt's 50, bro.
I'll check it out while you guys continue.
Triple H I would guess Triple H is about 48.
Okay, so they're both about the same age.
Yeah.
Why would Kurt, who obviously is in pretty good shape, why would Kurt cower down to Triple H when he's
Olympic gold medalist,
an Olympic gold medalist, and
he wouldn't
beating everybody in the world?
He wouldn't.
Why would he cower down to Triple H?
He wouldn't.
Yeah,
he wouldn't.
Made no sense. No sense.
I do want to say this though. I do want to give a positive. I want to just elaborate a little bit more. Jeff hit on it. I thought Jason Jordan did a fantastic job, and you got to understand, bro. He's in front of a hostile crowd. They freaking hate the guy. He's in front of a hostile crowd. He's green. He's a rookie. He's young. And I thought in that spot, he did a terrific job drowning out the crowd. Very emotional, very believable. I thought he did a great job in that spot.
And they're both 48 according to Wikipedia.
48, okay.
He was actually more professional than Paul Heyman was, because Paul Heyman let the crowd get to him. And he had to stop and let them get in the nonsense about the she said yes, to where he was able to cancel out the crowd and go on with what his job was.
Yeah,
Heyman didn't even do
Can
that.
somebody explain to me? Anybody on this panel, please explain to me. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong too. Last week we had a knockdown drag out between Joe and Finn Balor that they had to be separated, pulled apart, the whole 9 yards. Am I right so far?
Yeah, I recall that.
Okay. Finn Balor and Samoa Joe are 2 of the 5 on Team Raw. Am I right so far?
They are.
Can somebody explain to me why we did not go off of this segment with more heat between Joe and Finn Balor, and you can play that up going into the Survivor Series? You could have had Kurt reprimand them. You guys need to be on. Why last week did they want to beat the ever-loving crap out of each other, but this week we're going into the Survivor Series in 5 days? Why didn't they continue the heat between those 2 guys, Vito?
I'm going to tell you they dropped the ball on Samoa Joe when he had that Finn Balor mix-up last week. Then they have this team meeting, and Joe's being too nice and he's smiling. He should have kept his stone face. When he came out in the match, he shoved Finn like there was going to be some heat. They did the tagging in and out. When Finn needed to come back, he should have dropped off the ring and walked back up the ramp and let him get his ass kicked. That's the way it should have ended. For them to go and get the pin, make everybody happy, and then Joe walk off, totally lost his character. 2 weeks in a row, he buried himself. I think they're dropping the ball. And you can see Joe went from this unstoppable force to now being vulnerable, emotional, and now he's like a 50-50 guy where you could almost feel he's going to turn babyface. Go ahead, guys.
Prince is one of the biggest Samoa Joe fans on the planet. What's your take on this?
I think they don't know how to handle a guy like Joe. I think that Joe knows how to get himself over. Joe's done it before. I mean, Vince, you booked Joe for quite a while. You know what he's about. I think that he got up there. They see this big, by their standards, fat Samoan guy, and they don't know how to cater him or how to get him over.
Al Snow labeled him as fat and lazy, and that's why he never got in the WWE when we were developing the guys. He got a tryout. Al labeled him as fat and lazy, and they wouldn't give him a shot.
So
maybe you learn from your mistakes, and then you figure out by the time you're 30-something years old, I better start hustling or time is going to pass me by.
Joe is not a Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, or an Undertaker, but to me, he is definitely one of their top 4 to 5 stars they have right now.
I mean, he's like I don't want to compare him to Yokozuna
if you use him right,
fair by size.
No.
But I mean, as far as being a bigger, agile guy who can believably hurt somebody, I mean, Joe belongs in that role. Everything he does looks good, looks solid. He doesn't hurt people commonly.
I'd fight Roman Reigns long before I'd fight Samoa Joe.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But I feel like they just don't know how to protect him or how to book him or how to get him over.
And plus, he's a hell of a promo. I didn't realize how good his promos were.
He does,
and I buy what he says. He says it like he means it.
He does that old Jerry Lawler Memphis "I'm talking to you" kind of promo, and I think that's kind of a lost art. I don't think a lot of guys do that. It's all very much getting back to
memorized and let me get all my points in.
Yeah, and it's all still. I think they're kind of getting back to that '80s Ultimate Warrior yelling, shouting, kind of less incoherent than Warrior, but they're trying to be more like the Legion of Doom, I guess. They're trying to shout and scream, and I don't think that's going to work for today's audience.
That might have worked for the Legion of Doom, but most people, that's not going to work for.
Yeah, but Chris, do you think that he dropped his stock the last 2 weeks, and because he didn't do the walkout and he didn't do the tag, I mean, he should have left Finn Balor hanging there. I mean,
I agree with you completely that he did. I think his stock has dropped on Raw, but I think that the crowds accept moving brands as a reset. I think they've been trained to accept that as a character reset. So I think that if he were to go to SmackDown, if he were to come back after a month or 6 weeks, I think they would completely accept him as what they know him as. Because luckily, due to his run in TNA and his run in ROH, I think that people have a lot of memories of Joe as a certain way.
Speaking of reset, do you think some of the heat is off of Roman Reigns now that he's been away for a little while? He's been sick. The fans don't seem, now this was the Atlanta fans, but they don't seem to be as much in his shit as they have been before he was sick.
He has the other two. He's got the other two.
The other two are saving his ass.
Yeah,
you could be right.
They're deflecting. They love the Shield. They hate
because I remember when he first came out there with them, they got all the love and they still shit on him. But he got sick and it doesn't seem to be as bad now.
It'll come back.
Yeah,
if they split him up again, it'll come back.
All right.
All right, listen, I want to give a quick plug to you guys. You know how when Halloween's over and you can go buy all the Halloween candy at half price? You know what I'm talking about?
75%.
I used to. Go ahead.
75, 50% off. Guys, I am telling you, trust me. Do you guys all eat candy?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Vito, you eat candy? I mean, I know you're still in great shape, but you cheat now and then?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, if it's there, I'll have it. If it is, I'm not craving it. I stay away from Kroger's. I know they have great sales.
Jeff Lane eats his candy, right, Jeff?
Yeah, every once in a while if there's a Kit Kat laying around to me.
You guys
are Kroger's big up north?
Hear me out. Listen, you guys got to hear me out.
Right.
For Halloween, they made pumpkin spice M&Ms.
Get the hell out of here.
Oh my God, bro. I am they reduced them like 75% off of Kroger's. I bought like 10 bags. Bro, I'm telling you, they are unbelievable.
I am pissed. Chris, tell Vince what you had tonight.
We found a salted caramel Pepsi. Have you had one of those yet?
No, I haven't tried that. Really? I got to try that now.
I had one drink and had to pull off the road off a sugar high.
Yeah.
This son of a bitch
intense.
was sweet.
Yeah, it's
I
intense.
got to try it. Yeah.
What about pumpkin soup, fellas? You ever have
Oh, I
pumpkin
love
soup?
that, bro. That's awesome. I love that. Oh, that's delicious.
Who gave you pumpkin soup?
My grandmother made it.
She don't like you?
No, I mean it's all right. It's okay.
Pumpkin soup?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. If you go to like, where'd you get it, Vito? What is it? Panera or Atlanta Bread? They got it.
Yeah, I mean but if you can make it homemade, hey Kenny, you would love it. It's on the thing with lobster bisque. And it is good. You once you have it, you're gonna be like, wow.
I guess I'm up for one bowl of it.
I need to take you over to a Panera. You've never been to one.
They have it at Panera, definitely, Chris. They got pumpkin soup in there. I just had it about a week ago. Delicious.
It's high quality food. I got sick there a couple weeks ago.
Honestly, to God, never heard of
it's time to go
pumpkin
back.
soup.
I think. Yeah, it's Panera's good stuff.
Pumpkin soup, you got to try it, man.
I'm in for.
Okay. Let me tell you about the last thing here.
Braun Strowman and Kane.
Braun Strowman and Kane. Here's what I do not get. Okay. All right. Listen, bro. We've seen, we've seen everything they could possibly do. The guy going through the cage, the ring collapsing. You knew they were gonna do something with these two guys.
Yeah.
So he power slammed them through the mat. Big whoop. Here's the thing that freaking blew me away, Kenny.
All right.
And this is where I seriously have to think the WWE is starting to nickel and dime stuff. I have to believe that. Kenny, for as many years, and Chris too was involved at OVW, and Jeff too, for as many years as you guys have been involved in production, okay, bro? When Strowman power slammed Kane through the mat, that freaking camera shot, there was nothing to see.
Yeah.
No.
They showed it. The camera shot was even with the ring. You saw. Can somebody explain to me why, if they knew that was going to be the shot at the end of the show, why wasn't there a crane? Can you imagine how that shot would have looked from over top? Are you kidding me? That's 101, bro.
You would think at least 5 different camera angles on that. Obviously, OVW didn't have the budget they had, but you would think for them at least 5 different camera angles being prepared.
Oh my God! By not having that, Kenny, by not having the crane and the over top.
Well, what do they do when the ring? Because once every 2 to 3 years, the ring has to totally collapse.
I was going to say,
and we get that from 13 different camera angles, including from somebody's house across the street.
I think they did it on purpose.
The bad angle.
Yes, because I think they wanted to get the visual that they disappeared, and they didn't want the crowd to see them just laying there. I think they did it on purpose.
They've done that thing at least 3 or 4 times, probably.
Disappeared to where, Jeff?
Who knows? I'm just saying, because they never miss stuff.
Margaritaville? Did they disappear to Margaritaville?
Yeah, but this is one thing they don't screw up. You know what I mean? Like, they nail that stuff. So the fact that they didn't, and this was their big shot and their big moment, and they had to plan all this, and that they didn't show it, I think they did it on purpose.
Okay.
Well, I don't know how everybody else feels, but I think the ending was very, very flat.
Well, it was weird too. Like the announcers laid out, and it just faded to black.
Well, just that. No, not exactly. They didn't, because they came back and Michael Cole started talking, which I thought killed it. I thought there should have been an "oh my God" or "what the hell ever," whatever their catchphrase is, and then lay out. But Michael Cole continued to talk, and then they laid out. I just thought that it should have ended right as the destruction happens. maybe a couple of different camera angles with no commentary. I mean, they've done this thing several times. I mean, this ain't the first time that they've fallen through the ring. They even did it one time where smoke and fires underneath the ring. And that was Kane Undertaker, I guess.
I
can't remember.
I personally think they've been doing too much stuff with the destruction of the ring, trying to get Braun Strowman over that way. I think that he's broken through the ring. He's put people through the ring.
They've done a lot.
Yeah, it's lost meaning. I think that it used to be that when the Taker came out from underneath the ring, or when somebody went through the ring, it had gravity to it. I think that now it's just, okay, so Braun can put people through the ring. If he's able to just slam Kane through the ring at will.
Chris, wasn't the first time that ever happened? Didn't that happen at a Louisville In Your House?
I think so, yeah.
Pay-per-view with Undertaker? Because we never saw Undertaker all night. We're backstage. We don't see Taker all night. And then
I remember that. That was tremendous.
Was you there? Was you there for that?
Yes.
Well,
yeah, but I tell you one thing, guys. Go ahead, Kenny. Go ahead. Finish your sentence.
I was wondering how the hell I never met Vince at Louisville Gardens, because I was backstage just about that entire night.
Yeah,
I was mad because Paul Bearer didn't come to meet Chris, and I was pissed at Paul because he told Chris he'd come back up and meet him and sign an autograph. Well, he couldn't. He was tied up with his Undertaker thing, and I was pissed at him. I didn't know Paul, and then it turns out Paul Bearer is one of the greatest, decent, most loving human beings.
Oh, yeah, far and away.
I've never met anybody I love more than Paul Bearer.
I agree.
So I'm glad we got his name in tonight, because Vince, I know you're a Christian man, and you had to have loved Paul Bearer.
I loved him. What were you gonna say, Vito?
I was gonna say that everybody had their good points with the camera and everything, but I think everybody's missing the point about the referee. The referee kind of disappeared at the end, and that's why it was kind of left flat. And if the referee didn't come over to see what happened and where they went, at least if he would have waved on the medical crew and had the guys coming out from the back to come and look at the guys and say, okay, we got to help them, at least that would have gave the drama and the suspense, okay, what happened? Instead of giving us the visual from the top, they could have gave us the visual with the referees by the ringside looking down in the hole.
What was the one where
I agree, yeah.
What was the one where the referee fell out of the ring and it looked like he broke his neck?
Oh,
that's probably Rudy. That's probably Rudy Charles.
That was when they did the ring explosion. The ref bumped out.
That was one of the greatest bumps of all time.
Can I tell you guys something that I think was so ironic last night, and it really made me freaking crack up, right? Listen, can we all be honest here? This was a 3-hour show. The only thing worth watching on this show was freaking Triple H as the fifth guy, and, they cut off, even though they cut off Kurt Angle's nuts. Again. Nothing else on this freaking entire show mattered. Okay, Strowman putting Kane through, who freaking cares? Okay, so basically we watched the 3-hour show, and about a 7-minute segment was good, right? So I'm watching this show, and I swear to you guys, on the other channel is the Teen Mom 2 season finale with Dr. Drew.
Putting that over.
Okay. And I'm like, I swear to God, bro, it's not even a contest in my mind. It's not a back and forth.
Vince, before you go there,
I want to watch.
How did you end up on Teen Mom?
Well, so I want to watch Teen Mom because I know Teen Mom. I know there's going to be more drama.
Well,
Dr. Drew knows how to stir the shit. I want to watch. I don't want to watch Raw.
Were you a Love Line fan?
No, I wasn't actually.
Really? I figured you being up and down the roads, you might throw some of that on.
I'm a huge Corolla fan too. Yeah. So I'm catching myself, a 56-year-old man, and I'm like, I want to watch Teen Mom. I don't care about this. So I freaking tweet out. I want everybody to digest this.
Does your wife watch Teen Mom?
Yes, she does.
Okay.
I tweet out like it's incomprehensible that I'm sitting here and I literally I want to watch Teen Mom and I do not want to watch this show. I said, that's sad, bro.
Yeah.
I said, that is sad. So freaking Road Dogg writes back to me.
Oh God.
And he goes, well, maybe that says more about you than it does Raw, right?
He doesn't handle criticism well.
No, but here's the thing that freaking cracked me up. Let's put this in its proper perspective. So then, of course, all the WWE marks, they go. Here comes the brigade, and they're backing up Road Dogg. Okay, somebody actually made the listen. First of all, let me set the scene of Teen Mom so you understand it. Okay. Teen Mom is a 1-hour show. It's filled with freaking drama. Dr. Drew presses every button. He gets every teen mom to cry. We got somebody to storm off the set. The producers go out in the parking lot begging them to come back. All kinds of freaking dramas going on with teen mom, right? So now I'm going to the WWE brigade. Yeah, bro, we're going to go to Road Dogg's honor and we're going to bury Vince Russo. One guy makes the comment. Listen to what one guy said. Just listen to this for a second. How can a grown man watch Teen Mom? Right? Okay. I got a better question for you. How can a grown man watch this shit? Like, are you free, bro? You are a grown man watching this shit that is written for children. You just spent 3 hours watching 7 minutes that was watchable. And you're going to ask me how a grown man can watch Teen Mom? There was more drama in that 1 hour of Teen Mom than the entire last month of the WWE. And you're going to, how can a grown man watch this shit?
All right. We're all grown men here. Do we start reviewing Teen Mom?
I did that already, Kenny. I stopped. I did it for a couple of weeks.
I guess you have.
Well, we can continue our feud on Twitter, and that would be just as good.
Oh, no, it'd be good. It'd be freaking better.
Yeah, that's money.
I'm gonna take a quick 2-second pee break, and here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let Vito and I'm gonna let Mr. Bolin get over collar and elbow. Rod, this is for you. This is your spot, and I'm gonna let Mr. Bolin and I'm gonna let Big Vito go to town while I go take a piss. Go ahead, gentlemen.
Go ahead, start.
Kenny. Go ahead, lead it off, Kenny.
Want me to lead it off? I was going to say you've got the brand stuff there.
I'm new. They don't know my merch. They know yours.
Okay. Well, yes. Just if you see the boxes behind me over there, there's like 3 boxes full of nothing but collar and elbow merch of hoodies, hats, shirts, one-of-a-kind shirts, one-of-a-kind hoodies that I sent down to good folks at Collar and Elbow.
We do special orders.
We do a lot of special orders. The Prince finally has his hoodie.
The new Bowling Club hoodie.
He got the white zipper going on there that cost an extra $8. I wasn't real thrilled about that. We got the gray Bowling Club shirt. We've never done that before. We've even got one of the gray hoodies decked out over there. That was a special order. They're actually taking special orders on these things now. And fantastic people. Shout out to Rod Hicks. He always does a fantastic job. And just so thrilled that we now have my arch enemy. We got Vito aboard with collar and elbow. Got the shirts. Now, are you going to be having your own shirts made as well with the Vito brand? Is that coming? Or?
I'm going to have one shirt dedicated to my family.
That's the
Russos.
That's the wild.
And then I am going to go have one shirt dedicated to Getting Color. I'm going to have 2 shirts for now. And then I'm going to have some more designs made up. Right now, we're just going to do T-shirts. Ryder called me and asked me if we would like to participate. I said, of course. Let's all be on the same team. So if you're going to buy Kenny Bolin merch, everybody, go to Kenny Bolin store. Look at it. See what you need. Order from Kenny Bolin. If you like my merch, guys, feel free to buy mine. Kenny has a code. Kenny, what's your code?
STARMAKER, and yours is?
Mine is Big Vito. So STARMAKER and Big Vito.
Network. We are. What's the code? We are on Vince's network. What's his code?
Yeah, Russo. Use the code Russo.
Code Russo. So we got 3 codes out there. So pick your favorite among us. Me. No, I never put my code over because I am on Vince's network, and I always put Vince's code over.
And a lot of times people contact you directly for orders. So.
Yeah, most people contact me directly.
CollarandElbowBrand.com. Let's talk about SmackDown. I hate to be like so negative. What, Jeff? We think a lot alike, and people don't like that. They think you're kissing my ass. No, bro, we think a lot alike. You don't need to freaking kiss my ass to be here with me.
Well, your studios look alike.
They do look a lot alike. Where's the hat, Vince?
Where's that hat? Where's the Mass Effect hat? Yeah,
Jeff. Was this freaking Shane McMahon? You know what the Shane McMahon, Kenny will appreciate this because he's a little older than everybody else, but I think Vito knows about this. Maybe Jeff. You know what the Shane McMahon pep talk reminded me of? It reminded me of Glow. Can you remember Glow? The women's wrestling, Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, which was meant to be campy. That show, Jeff, was that like not the most campiest, stupidest? Bro, they got a microphone. What? Bro, is there not a Road Dogg? Listen to me, Brian. Is there not a producer there that is producing this and like not saying like, this is freaking the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life? One producer, bro. Jeff, please talk to me about that open.
I don't know, and it was cut very weird too. Like the edits where it seemed like Becky Lynch was already answering Shane before he even finished asking her the question. I thought it was cut weird, and the verbiage was terrible, and I don't know. Yeah, it was hokey.
And I got to say this too. And listen, I love Shane McMahon. I don't want to get any heat with Shane McMahon. But I got to say this, Kenny, we got paying customers. I got to say this.
Right.
Is it just me, or is the size of Shane McMahon's head starting to challenge that of Barry Bonds?
You know what? Now
I'm telling you, bro, his head is getting bigger and bigger by the week.
You think maybe he's got some help with that, Vince?
You don't think maybe he really would he? Why
stay young, man?
Really?
I'm telling you, bro. Okay, Vito, anything? Any comments from the peanut gallery over there, Vito? You're very quiet.
Well, I mean, Shane is training hard. He's taking some very, very special vitamins. They're enhancing the growth of his body from head to toe. I mean, he is a growing boy, and he looks great.
All right. Okay.
Well, all I know
his hormones are changing.
All I know is Barry Bonds' head when he was with the Pittsburgh Pirates when they played the Reds in 1990. His head was like for the looking about
like a bobblehead, Kenny.
Then he goes.
So Vince, are you now admitting that heads can change size?
Yes, I am.
Oh, heads definitely can change size
if you're on steroids, Jeff. Okay, which I doubt you are. Okay, so listen, that for opening scene was freaking.
You're also probably not on human growth hormone either.
Yeah, exactly. That Shane, that was so campy and so freaking horrible, guys. The Daniel Bryan thing was a lot better. As a matter of fact, he was much more entertaining doing freaking Paul Heyman than the human jowl is doing Paul Heyman. So I thought Daniel Bryan did a really good job in that open.
He got a decent pop off talking about what a quitter Bryan.
But that's the thing that bothered me, Kenny, and I want to see if it bothered you guys too, because when he's talking about Brock Lesnar being a quitter, bro, and I'm just bringing these things up because if I'm a writer and I'm there, I'm bringing these things up. Now, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't AJ Styles supposed to be the baby face in this? Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Vito? Right?
Absolutely. He's 100%.
Here's what bothered me about this promo. Daniel Bryan is talking about Brock Lesnar being a quitter and quitting in UFC, right?
Yeah, but he was.
Okay, but Jeff, wasn't it just a few months ago when Braun Strowman put Brock through like 18 tables and they had to wheel him in the back on the gurney and Brock came back? That's what I was thinking about when they was something like I said, what are you talking about, quitter? Braun Strowman put the guy through 18 tables and he came back. My point is, a heel would have said that. You know, a heel would have called the guy a quitter when he's not a quitter. But for Daniel Bryan as a babyface to say Brock Lesnar quit, I'm like, Daniel, do you watch your own show, bro? Strowman put him through 22 tables and he came back. Did that cross anybody else's mind?
Here's what they led me to believe the story they were trying to tell. And maybe I perceived it wrong. They were telling me that, and this is just totally unbelievable and unacceptable, that bad hairstyle was going to make Brock Lesnar tap out and make him quit. That's how I perceived the story to be told, is that they were letting us think that was a possibility that they were going to make him quit. Now, Chris, how did you take it? You saw the promo.
I thought they were trying to say Rachel from Friends was going to put him in that hold that he does and make him tap. That's what I perceived.
Rachel does have pretty hair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Vito, how did you take that, Vito?
I got to tell you something. You know, we criticize Paul Heyman for doing certain things. We criticize the promos, but they never put Brock Lesnar. They mocked him. They mocked Paul Heyman. But They didn't make it as AJ Styles' greatest achievement to beat the one indestructible force in the WWE. So they didn't give Brock, they didn't give him the praise. They didn't mention his accolades. He didn't mention his accomplishments. They didn't put him on that pedestal that this is AJ Styles' greatest fight. You could have mocked him afterwards, but being the quitter, I thought was cheap. I thought that you should have built up the monster and said, AJ, can you beat him for Team SmackDown? And he would have started the yes chant, yes, yes, yes. The place would have became unglued and go off like that. Having a funny, trying to Daniel Bryan has gotten better on the stick. Daniel Bryan came across, mocking Heyman, but there was too much mockery and it wasn't too much sincerity in AJ Styles defeating Brock Lesnar.
What the story I would have told, and Prince is very good at this. The story because if you want to enhance this or take it another direction, let me know. The story I would have told is, yeah, he's big, he's a freak, he's Godzilla, and over here we got basically David and Goliath, and he's going to use his speed, agility, his endurance to wear down Brock. And then once, because they kind of painted that story a little bit about
Brian
when
kind
he
of said that,
about when he's underwater and then he's going to get wobbly and all this. And I would have talked about how I was going to wear him down. This ain't going to be one of your famous 3-minute matches, one of your famous 1-round matches. This baby's going to go a while. You're going to have to chase me. You're going to have to come get me. You're going to have to outmaneuver me. And I would have told the story how I'm going to wear him down. And when you're sucking wind, son, and what's AJ's finish?
Styles Clash.
That's when I'm going to hit you with a Styles Clash, and I will. I've got it mapped out. I've got a way to beat you. Now, what would you have done, Prince?
I'd have probably done pretty much the same thing, but I would have focused a lot more on the fact that it was going to be a longer match, because I think people are tired of the 3-minute Brock Lesnar squash, and I think that it would make AJ seem a lot more confident going in. He said, "I'm the underdog. I wouldn't have it be any other way." But he even when he was a babyface before, he was always a cocky babyface. He had come back from Japan. He'd conquered over there. He was here to, he was going to squash Roman Reigns. Now he's kind of, I feel like they've taken that confidence from it. It's taken some of the edge off of AJ. I would have had him say, we're going to go the distance. This thing might go 30, 40, 50 minutes. Try to build up that pay-per-view audience. We want to see a longer match, because that's who you're trying to draw in. You're trying to draw in the people who want something different.
Brock, you've never seen a 50-minute match. You've never seen a 30-minute match.
And then say, how are you going to react in an environment like that? How are you going to handle an environment like that? And bring up Brock's age. Brock has aged out of being able to do Iron Man matches. Probably.
Normally, you don't bring up the age, but in this case, maybe you can.
Yeah, I mean, AJ's
when it's dramatic and everybody knows.
Guy too, so it's not necessarily that big of a deal. But I would have portrayed it a lot differently, and I would have focused. If they're going to say that Brock's going to get into the deep water, I would have focused on how AJ's going to drag this thing out. AJ's going to avoid him. AJ's going to run. AJ's going to fly. AJ's going to make this a longer ordeal than what Brock can handle.
And this is amazing because Chris and I rarely agree on how we're going to get from point A to point B, but we're pretty close on this one.
Jeff, what do you think?
I mean, this is the issue when they pull a major reboot and they only got 1 day to tell the story. 2 days, last night and tonight, and they didn't put either of them together, and they're both going to come out and say their thing. And this is kind of like their Hail Mary, please buy the pay-per-view. So, I mean, everything you guys all laid out would have been better than we saw, but they didn't leave themselves enough time to promote this match properly.
Well, I think the promo would have been much more believable if they wanted to go the extra 9 yards, and Daniel Bryan would have got jowl injections. Now that's what I would have suggested if I was writing the show.
And a neck blow up wouldn't
Is
hurt
there any reason to talk about Corbin Burnson and Sin Cara?
There's not, but before we get there, I'm going to make a suggestion. I think I've got this figured out. I think I got a scoop.
All right.
Vince, I want you to take your webcam and I want you to pan it to the far right. We're going to see Jeff Lane.
He's on the other side.
He's on the other side. This is like one of those news clips where they're sitting right there side by side.
Funny,
Jeff Lane ain't a bit more in New York, the man in the moon. He's in Colorado and he's connected to Vince's office. I'll bet money on it.
That'd be funny. Okay. I'm not going to talk about Corbin Burnson. I don't care. Can I tell you guys something else?
That name hadn't been mentioned today unless there's a sexual harassment suit up in Hollywood.
First of all, let me say on this very show last week, Mr. LaGrasso, don't forget things. You predicted the Charlotte victory. You predicted her going into Survivor Series, the champion. Well done.
He did.
It was obvious.
Yeah, go ahead, Vito. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It was obvious they needed the star power. Natalie just didn't have the star power. I didn't realize that Charlotte was going to her hometown. I mean, because that would have been the obvious, but I did it on the fly. It just made more sense for Charlotte to go in there. Now I think with what happened, the interaction with the girls at the end of the night, with Alexa Bliss coming out and knocking down Charlotte, I could see that Charlotte's going to pull out the victory after the Survivor Series. Go ahead, guys.
I'll tell you what I did not like. I thought this was badly done. I hate the way they did the Flair thing.
Yeah.
Charlotte should have gave her dad the big freaking introduction. The way they did it was like,
they fooled me on it because it didn't make no sense.
Yeah, exactly, Kenny. I was like, first of all, here's where the WWE makes a mistake. Okay, bro. Here's where, like, I swear to God, man, they're clueless. They know they're catering to the hardcore audience. We've made that clear, bro. Okay, we're catering to the marks. All right, that's who this show is for. It's for the marks. Every freaking website had Ric Flair backstage. Okay, everybody, all the marks in attendance, and you're in North Carolina. We know Ric Flair is there. Are you freaking kidding me, bro? It's in North Carolina. His daughter's wrestling for the belt. It's all over the internet. The guy is there. And you're going to try to make a lame-ass surprise out of it, which was freaking horrible. She should have gave him the big introduction. I guarantee you, bro, before she got through it, she would have been bawling. She would have been crying. They should have played his music. They should have let him come down. I don't know what the freak they did, Jeff.
We pointed out that that Flair did a better job working up tears than she did.
Oh, yeah, she did not act at all surprised. She said, oh, I'm sure I'm going to go backstage and I'm going to have a tweet. She did not act at all surprised. Jeff, what did you think of this?
Yeah, it was odd. They tried to get it across that they surprised her, obviously. Maybe on paper that looked like the best angle. Maybe they're not paying attention that the spoiler was out there because, you know, some snitch backstage let it out. I don't know. A lot of times things look good on paper. At least they figured out how to get him on the show. I still thought it would have been funny if you know, he turned on her or something. Like, I'm always looking for that stuff to be funny, especially after the 30 for 30 if he just goes up to his Ric Flair stuff. But
hardcore. I still ain't got to see the 30 for 30 yet.
I gotta watch that.
Is there you know something? Did you guys notice one thing? When he came out, he didn't know after the 30 for 30, and he professed how he wasn't this family man. Did you notice he had a hard time whether to hug his daughter or wave to the crowd?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't know what he was doing.
See that, bro?
And it was hard for him.
You see the insights you get from Big Vito here, you don't get from anywhere else, bro. That's a great insight, bro, Vito. Very good. Get on.
I was going to point something out about the match itself with Natalya.
Go ahead.
I never thought of her as being bad particularly, but watching her tonight, she was like a caricature of a 1950s heel. She kept screaming "shut up" at the crowd when they weren't making any noise.
I hate
her
that
timing
stuff.
was way off. The way she was trying to do things, it made no sense.
I liked Flair's way of getting out of that. When the crowd wasn't making the noise he wanted, he would always single out the fat guy in the front row, even though he weighed 180.
But you know why it throws you off, Chris? Because when you don't think it's time for you to drop your belt, or you don't think it's time for you to go or to put somebody over, you'll go into the match half-hearted and you're not giving your best performance.
Oh, I assure you, she was not.
Maybe that's what it was, because I haven't watched a lot of Natalya. I'm not going to lie to you. I never had a negative opinion of her before this match, but it was just everything was off. Her timing was off. Her style was off.
I worked with her quite a bit in OVW, and what I see on Divas, and I do watch Divas because I love a train wreck. So if he can watch the mommy show, I can watch Divas.
Teen Moms too.
And she comes across very much like she was in OVW. I don't see much acting there. She can be the drama queen from hell when she wants to be. And I guarantee you she was not happy about losing that belt. In her head, she is the best, the best they got, and the best there's ever going to be. Isn't that how the phrase goes? I think it's pretty close.
Yeah. All right. Usos against Benjamin and Gail. I don't care. New Day against Owens and Sami Zayn.
Did you hear Byron Saxton say that Zayn and Owens have a buffet of excuses?
Oh, jeez. See,
That's every week.
It takes them freaking. It takes the WWE 3 years to say freaking Kevin Owens is fat and Sami Zayn's out of shape. Like the last 3 years, they were freaking. Oh please, can I tell you something? Because I know Vince McMahon like the back of my mind. You can't lay out a scene so to build freaking drama, okay? When it's unrealistic in the realm of professional wrestling, because you got a lot of casual fans like me sitting at home saying, wait a minute, if this were really happening, it would not be happening this way. That's where you lose the casual fans, because Vince is trying to create theater and drama, but the theater and the drama is unfreaking believable. Here's my perfect case in point, okay? The Shield's coming down. We got the 3 guys in the ring. We got New Day in the ring with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Okay, so now the 5 of them in the ring. The Shield come all the way down, and the Shield surrounds the ring. This took about 2 minutes before the Shield ever got in the ring. It took about 2 minutes. Can I ask one simple, logical question? Where's the rest of the SmackDown locker room?
Yeah.
Not only that, Vince, who the F is hitting their music if they're not supposed to be there?
Thank you. That's what I mean that's what I mean about Vince, like just being he's lost somewhere in the 80s, because people are sitting there watching this and they're asking the same questions I'm asking. You broke into their building. You took your sweet time coming down to the ring. You're surrounding the ring like freaking hyenas. Where's the rest of the SmackDown roster? Vito?
The Shield did have music, didn't it?
Yes. Very good, Jeff.
Feed it to the guy. Here, we're going to get ready to run in on this, and I need y'all to play this for me.
Vito?
Well, I can tell you. No, you're not wrong. I can tell you one thing. The separation of Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens bailing on the rest of the crew, okay, really showed, okay, the separation, and they showed, okay, where are we going to go with these guys? Here come the Shield. They're starting to go down. Kurt Angle walks down the middle of the ramp. What happened to the guys in the back? Everybody go to lunch?
Video games and
that's what I mean, bro. That's what I mean. See, I'm just bringing this up because I'm telling you, if me and Ed Ferrara are writing this show, these are the things we're going through. Where is the SmackDown locker room when the Shield's coming down 1,000 steps? I mean, these are the questions that we're asking that don't get asked anymore.
Would anybody have questioned why the Shield would have had music?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they wouldn't have had music. They wouldn't have had music.
That was 80s booking. That's why.
Terrible.
There was one other thing that happened tonight where you and I looked at each other and go, what the hell was that? Do you recall what
it was? When Strowman came out of the back. It's like, why?
Why Strowman and Angle are in the back. What the hell? Why?
Yeah.
I had a meeting with Vince.
Wait a minute. Hold on, Kenny. Before we get to Strowman and Curse, a meeting with Vince. Jeff, there was a very significant point in this melee that's Rudy, bro. It's official. Rudy Charles is taller than Finn Balor. Bro.
I saw the same thing.
He's taller than Finn. Rudy Charles is taller than Finn Balor, bro. Rudy Charles.
I saw the same thing.
All right, now let's dice. I'm not going to knock this. This was good. I enjoyed this. This kept my interest. I thought this was good. The one thing I would have liked to see, because they've cut Kurt's balls off for the last freaking 3 months, I felt that this should have went off with Kurt having the ankle lock on Shane McMahon.
100% agree with that. I was waiting for it, and
it was like they gave him an angle saying, big deal. I mean, it was an angle, big deal. Yeah. He should have taken that coat off, and locked that thing on.
Go off the air with it.
Screaming at the top of his lungs, we're off the show.
Now we got to wonder what happened.
Yeah. Just one other question too. While we're nitpicking this, we're really not nitpicking.
I don't think we're nitpicking. No.
Where's Rude? Where's Orton? And where's Cena?
I saw Rude laid out on the outside of the ring. I didn't.
Oh, you did? Okay, all right. Then Rude was there. Orton and Cena, I guess, the two biggest guns of the team.
Rude.
Oh,
Yeah.
that ain't right.
Balor knocked out Rude.
Oh, geez.
Well, Cena's a pretty big star. He shouldn't get mixed up in this crap.
He's above all that.
Yeah.
And then they did the old sex locker room march again that they've used.
He was probably in the back going, Kenny Bolin made me. I can't risk getting hurt.
Yeah, that probably not.
Disappoint Bolin.
Yeah. Vito, what you think about this segment as a whole?
As a whole, I thought it was a good way to go off. It gave the Raw guys a little credibility back. It gave them a little bit of spunk. I guess Angle got some revenge, and Shane took a hell of an ass kicking. And now with Shane down, you have to put them down. Now the thing is going to come, okay, where do you go with the 5-on-5 Survivor Series match? Now, you going with Team Raw or you going with Team SmackDown? Because now they knocked down the SmackDown crew, right? So now who's going to come up strong? What team is going to come up? I would say, like I said it all along, I think that the Raw crew is going to dominate all of the Survivor Series. I think they put Charlotte in gave Charlotte the title because she's going to go over Alexa Bliss for 1 win. The Usos are going to beat Sheamus and Cesaro for 2 wins. Okay, I don't see anybody else winning at Survivor Series, and I would like to see Carmella possibly cash in her Money in the Bank, but she has a choice. But she has a choice of champions. So Carmella could switch and hop over the Raw.
Very good, Vito. Very nice.
I hope she pins. What if she pinned both of them at the same time?
Well, that's a stretch. That's a stretch. But I think if Carmella cashes in, she should cash in with the Raw Money in the Bank. And because it's SmackDown, a briefcase is a briefcase. They're there. I would take it off Alexa Bliss, and then you got a new fresh girl. And then you have a new feud.
You know what? That's not some bad predictions right there. But there's one other thing, because Vito jumped the gun on us and made a hell of a prediction last month that the rest of us had ignored. And that was that, well, maybe Jinder Mahal lost the belt because of a drug violation or a wellness violation, whatever the case may be. And then turns out the next day, there were a lot of places reporting that was the case. And I put Vito over before we had our problems and says, hey, man, Vito called it. Good call. And now they're saying that's not the case. So
yeah, Jinder came out and said, I did not fail a drug test. I am not hurt. He came out and made that statement, which is true, because if he had failed the drug test, he'd be suspended.
Yeah, exactly. He'd be gone. And I would certainly, if I didn't fail the drug test, I would want to come out and make sure. I wouldn't want to be labeled with that.
Can I tell you guys the major, bro, here's where, like, I swear to God, bro, we were at the Attitude Era, okay? And here's where, this is exactly where, guys, I'm going to paint a beautiful picture for you. The Attitude Era should have evolved. Instead, the Attitude Era went back in time because let me tell you why. You ready, Kenny?
Yeah.
We open up the show with Shane McMahon and this ridiculous, campy town meeting with wrestling promos and what we're going to do the Raw. It was so freaking 1980s. Okay? Jeff. What did Shane McMahon just find out yesterday by watching Raw?
That Triple H was in the...
My brother-in-law, whose freaking guts I can't stand and who I hate with a passion, is now going to be on the opposite side. Bro, could you imagine, rather than that campy, stupid scene that got them nowhere, if Shane McMahon would have cut a freaking promo on Hunter? Bro, they dropped that whole ball.
I'd rather saw that.
Yeah.
They dropped that whole ball. Listen, bro, play that freaking up. Bro, Stephanie and Shane rip each other all the time. Now Triple H is going to be face-to-face in that ring with Shane, and they did not play that card for a freaking second? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. That's a great point.
Would there be any way, now that we've got 2 family members on 1 family member, would there have been any way in a meaningful way to tie Vince in with Shane? He's taking Shane's side, and then you got Triple H and Stephanie on the other side. Would that have worked? Was there a way to get there?
Oh, there definitely was a way to get there, Kenny. I mean, there definitely was. But, I think this is a case, and I think Jeff laid this out earlier. Bro, they are clearly booking like week to week to week to week to week. They don't have the time to think about the things that we're talking about. So they're doing the basics. They're doing the 101s, and they're missing the fact that Shane is going to be in the ring against Triple H. How do you not build that up?
Well, I think that I could say one thing. You guys all made a good point by that Shane should have made the promo, but the last thing they should have had, everybody says the ankle lock. Now that you bring it up, maybe Triple H should have walked down the aisle and just stared at Shane and walked off with the team.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, absolutely, bro. Bro, what about if Triple H would have done the damage to Shane?
Then that makes Kurt Angle look like a wuss.
What? But I mean, you let Kurt freaking do the freaking ankle thing, and then you let Hunter come in and pedigree Shane.
It's overkill. You want the stare down.
I agree with you.
After the damage is done, you stand over him and look at him, and then you take your boys and you walk to the back, and you're walking off, closing the show.
Yeah, I think there just should have been something. But go ahead, Jeff.
I mean, there was one issue, and it was big for me with this main event, the whole deal, and it just when stuff like this, when I see this, maybe it's just me, it just ruins the whole thing for me to sit and say, yeah, that was pretty good. Sheamus and Cesaro were just part of this team that put Braun Strowman into a garbage truck and tried to kill him. And now they're teaming together because they're both wearing red shirts. Well, the Shield is teaming with Sheamus and Cesaro, working together against the New Day because they're all wearing red shirts when these guys have hated each other's guts for 4 months. Stuff like that just takes me out of it, man. And I just can't.
We pointed that out too, about the alliances that were formed together, who were feuding with each other last week, or even currently. They're standing there side by side in unison because of red and blue. I also think it was a waste of money on those 3 shirts. I don't know what
shirts. Oh, the Shield shirts. Well, what was that?
6 shirts. Well, what the hell was that? And they're the only ones that got one too. The hell with everybody else. So I thought that was a waste of money.
There was something that bothered me that I don't know if anybody else even noticed, or it might just be me nitpicking. But they showed Asuka in the back with the group, and she was wearing plain clothes. She was smiling, and she was associating with the other girls. And I felt like that kind of cheapened Asuka. It humanized her. Asuka's always been this otherworldly kind of thing in NXT. She was always above everybody else, kind of, in a way. And now that they've had her do this, I feel like it just shows her as being a normal girl, like a human being. And I think that cheapens what she is overall.
No.
That's I'm happy to be here look.
Yeah.
But I think that, you know what? I think they did that happened to just about everybody when they put on a red or blue shirt. They lost their individuality, and now they're either Raw or SmackDown.
I would have been the first one to fight the red and blue shirt crowd.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure y'all already know. Because I'm not a player.
Well, it was Glenn that said, "What? I mean, do they think the audience are idiots? Do we need to know that they have the blue shirt on? We don't know they're on SmackDown or Raw. I mean,
yeah, they certainly think the audience are idiots. That's why they do what they do.
Yeah.
All right. Well, like people are getting sleepy.
Yeah, but Vince, you and Vito's Getting Color will be on the Survivor Series this week, correct?
Well, actually, Jeff, I was going to maybe tap that out to you, my friend. I think I've watched enough WWE programming this week. And quite frankly, bro, I don't give a shit about any one of these matches, to be honest with you, bro. So, I
figured, and I told Kenny 2 days ago that if we did our show this week, I have to do it on Monday because I have to watch the pay-per-view. So I knew it was coming.
I may take Jeff Lane in. I may take Jeff. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Mr. Bolin, give your Brolin Alley plugs and everything going on.
We're pretty excited about the next one. We had to delay it a week this week due to the travel schedule of Conan. He's been going back and forth.
Conan
the Barbarian.
Conan O'Brien.
Conan O'Brien. I booked Conan O'Brien. I don't know who the hell you booked. But yeah,
one of them's going to show up.
One of them will show up. But he's had I bet it's Conan O'Brien. But he's had a heavy travel schedule between Canada and Mexico, and asked us for a little recuperation time. So he is supposed to be on the show with us. He wrote me today, said to give him 3 days notice and remind him, but he will be on the next Bolin Alley. Christopher is salivating to do this show.
I am. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Looking forward to talking about the lucha and all that I know absolutely nothing about.
He knows nothing. It'll be a Chris heavy show.
Vito, if you want to see a show that I'm not going to have much input on, that's going to be the one.
All right, it's going to be on the Bolin Alley when you announce it during the week.
Yes, we're going to plug it on Twitter, Facebook. It will be on the Bolin Alley.
All right, I'll check it out.
Will air, and of course, my book, I Probably Screwed You Too. You can get those on Amazon.com, or if you want them signed by me at a premium price, you can contact any of my inboxes. The hoodies, the shirts, the Beats by Bolin. There's a link to my Twitter page that links you to my store. Something you want, let me know. I don't beg any of you to buy it, but if you want it, I'll work out a deal for you.
I am on Twitter at Chris Bolin DDR.
Talk to the microphone so they know.
I'm on Twitter at Chris Bolin DDR, Instagram at Chris Bolin DDR, and Christopher Bolin on Facebook. Add me on any of those.
Vince, you're comfortable with your sexuality. Who's got the sexier voice between me and the Prince? Now, remember, I'm a man.
You do. You do.
Me?
You do. I'll be honest with you.
Chris,
Vito, what do you got? Vito, what are we selling, bro? What do you got?
Well, I'm just going to say
the website, bro. Tell
I was going to say, Chris, we just met, but your father definitely has the swag on the voice.
God damn. Yeah. Hell, I can't be mad at him now.
No, that's love right there, man. That's brand love.
Hey, Vito, you want to get together after the show?
All right, here we go, guys. We got the launching of the new website tomorrow, bigvito.com. Go there. There's going to be videos. There's going to be everything up there. Guys, we have 2 places to buy shirts. We are going to start out with Collar and Elbow. We have our merchandise. Guys, go to Collar and Elbow. There's a lot of great stuff on there. You have Vince Russo stuff, you have Kenny Bolin stuff, and you have Big Vito stuff. Use the Big Vito code, use the STARMAKER code or the Russo code. We also have our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is the Big Vito brand. Guys, if you go to Twitter, we can always use the followers. Go to the Big Vito brand on Facebook. It's the Big Vito brand. And the relaunch of the, like I said, of the new website is opening up tomorrow. Guys, check it out. Everything is good. Vince, you want to call this you want to get this
one last thing before we go. I do have to admit the follower uptick, because I knew what Vito had before all this crap started. I know what I had. We're getting people from somewhere, because the followers have really ticked up on Twitter for both of us, and you know, for every one we lose, we're gaining 5. So those that say that they can't take this shit and they're leaving, 5 more take their place. So
guys, for everybody out there who follows this, would be for me and Kenny Bolin, okay? For all the fans who wish to stop, okay, we're going to stop. We're going to play nice. We're going to get along. So Kenny's going to stay here. He's not quitting this week. Okay, we'll wait till next week. Not this week.
I only quit every other week.
Every other week he's going to quit. Jeff is going to be here. Vin is going to play referee. And I'm just going to keep asking Kenny the same question every week until he answers me on Twitter.
You'll never get it.
Never get an answer. But all bets are off. Everything is all solved. We know what buttons to push. We know what personalities are. Everything is going to be cool now. So, guys, don't worry. The brand is a team. The team is a brand. There's no eyes except when Kenny talks about John Cena. And I guess we'll just leave it at that.
And they go to ratings. Jeff, what do you want to talk about? Your shirt? Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at JeffLane22. Check out my stuff, ProWrestlingTees.com/JeffLane. And, of course, try out our Realm Network video show. Today, Lions, Tigers, Bears, and Disco comes out for them. They get to download that. Keep that. They got Castrating the Marks yesterday. They get all these shows on video weekly. It's less than $1 a week. No long-term commitments. You can opt out at any time. Give us a shot at russosbrand.com.
Yeah, and lastly, I want to say I have the Russo's what is it called? Russo's Attitude, I think it is. Is it, what's it called, Jeff? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I don't want to misread it. Let me get the official name
I
here.
think it's called Vince Russo's Attitude. My sit down with Ken Shamrock. It's available now on Kayfabe Commentaries. You can view it on demand DVD or download it at shootinterviews.com. Vince Russo's Attitude. And one last thing, check out the Podcast One app. There is no other podcast app like this. Download the all-new Podcast One app now in the App Store or on Google Play. Guys, it's been a long night, even though we separated the shows.
Vince, it has, but I have a special request before you go.
Go ahead, bro, because we're 5 hours in from the time SmackDown started.
I don't mind. In the spirit of family, Thanksgiving is coming upon us. Christmas is coming upon us. Vito has his wife on the show quite a bit. I finally get the Prince on Podcast One. I touched him. He lost his fucking mind. Bleep that. And when are we going to get Jeff's girlfriend and Vince? Let's, during Thanksgiving and Christmas, have your spouses and other halves on the show. And let's have
she's right there. She knows she can come on whenever she wants. The ball's in their court. So,
but let's have a family show over the holiday.
Yeah, Jeff, we gotta start pressuring her to come.
And she just ran out of the room.
Nice. All right, guys. We've been like I said, bro. It's been 5 hours since we watched SmackDown and did these two shows. I want to thank Vito, the lovely Noel, who's retired to the bedroom, the Prince, Chris.
Always a pleasure.
Mr. Bolin.
Yeah, I'm going to be back next week.
Jeff Lane.
Week after I'm quitting.
Thank you guys for 5 hours tonight. I appreciate it. I'm glad we made nice. And we will see everybody tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Good night, everybody.